So George says, you don't question much. I bet you can believe the doctor before they operate right, or that you trust you won't get hit by a car while walking. You see, George here is implying that we should be able to trust God even though we can't see him or experience him whatsoever because, well, we trust doctors and roads and stuff, right? And George, your comment actually helps me prove the point that I was trying to make in the first place. Let's consider real quick how doctors and drivers are different than God, the God of the Bible specifically in this situation. You see, doctors have this little thing called a medical license where they have to go to 10, 12 plus years of school and then have to be evaluated and tested. Shit, they have to take MCATs just to get into school. Then they have to pass all of their classes and do all their hours and do residency, etc., etc. Then they get diplomas and doctorates and certifications saying that they are good at what they do. And then they practice it a trillion times, likely before I ever step into their office. Now, when I step into their office, what's the first thing I see? Their certifications and degrees and diplomas on their wall, because they understand that it's critical that patients, people who are going to trust them with their body and life and mind, etc., are confident and comfortable that they really know what they're doing. George, if a doctor is unwilling to do this for you and show you their pedigree, then don't let them operate. What's more is I can physically see that doctor, I can physically talk to the doctor and physically hear the doctor talk to me, explaining the procedures and his expertise. If I ask him a question before the operation, he'll answer it. Likewise, I trust that I won't get hit by a car while I'm walking. For the most part, I still got to be careful, right? We still have to look both ways. But we trust that that's not going to likely happen because in America, we have this thing called a driver's license, whereby the government has certified and approved that you know how to drive a motor vehicle, that you're old enough to do so, you've been tested to do so, and that the likelihood of you messing this up is pretty low. You see, before I cross the street, I can use my eyeballs and my physical senses to look both ways and see if cars are coming. I know that cars, generally speaking, follow the rules of the road going on the right side and which direction they're going to go. I can see the signs. And most importantly, I can just use my actual senses to determine whether or not I'm going to get hit by a car before I just step into a street blindly. These are all things, all credentials, all rules, all physical activities I can engage in to ensure that I'm safe before I engage in those activities that God, the God of the Bible specifically, I can't engage with him in that way. He won't show himself to me. He doesn't have a license or a doctorate or a pedigree. He won't show it to me if he does. And he certainly won't allow me to see him coming or going or anything. There's no rules of the road for Yahweh or for God. So, yeah, I'll trust a licensed doctor or a licensed driver over an invisible fictional being who has no provable, demonstrable power every day of the week.